The Iranian-Israeli conflict erupted on June 13, 2025, marked by high-profile assassinations, attacks on nuclear sites, and waves of Iranian drone and missile strikes. The escalation triggered regional turmoil and raised fears of a potential nuclear confrontation. Backed by covert Mossad operations, the assault prompted Iran to launch around 100 drones and missiles, causing major damage. The UN condemned the escalation, and the IAEA warned of serious risks from attacks on nuclear sites. By June 14, Israel intensified its offensive, striking Iran's defense ministry and Tehran's airport. In response, Iran launched attacks on Tel Aviv and Haifa. As a response to the military escalation, Iran announced the suspension of nuclear talks with the United States. Israel's unprovoked attacks on Iran was condemned by numerous nations, including Russia, China, Pakistan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. While G7 nations and several other European states voiced support to Israel, others adopted a more neutral stance, urging de-escalation. On June 16, Iranian missiles hit Tel Aviv and Haifa, killing 8 and injuring over 100. Israel said it intercepted most and destroyed a third of Iran's launchers. Iran later announced arrests linked to Israeli intelligence. The next wave of attacks came on June 17, when Iran claimed it had successfully struck Israel intelligence facilities, including Mossad Center. In response to the escalation, 21 Arab and Muslim nations endorsed an Egyptian-led collective statement condemning Israel's aggression against Iran. On June 18, Israel hit Iran's Khujair missile complex and centrifuge sites in Tehran and Karaj, strikes later confirmed by the IAEA. By June 19, targeted Natanz and Arak, with the military ordered on June 20 to prepare for a prolonged campaign. In a dramatic escalation, President Trump announced on June 21st the U.S. bombers struck 3 major Iranian nuclear sites, claiming the operation had obliterated Iran's nuclear capabilities. By June 22, the U.S. clarified its goals. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the mission targeted Iran's nuclear program, not regime change. Officials called it a one-time strike, warning of strong retaliation if Iran attacks U.S. targets. On June 23, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. Putin condemned the U.S. strikes as unjustified aggression, pledged diplomatic and humanitarian support, and offered to mediate, but withheld any military commitment. At the June 23 NATO summit in The Hague, Secretary General Mark Rutte said U.S. strikes on Iran did not violate international law. He urged Iran to meet its NPT obligations and accused Iran of aiding Russia and Ukraine by supplying kamikaze drones. Later that day, Iran launched a devastating missile strike on the U.S. El Udeid air base in Qatar after explosions over Doha. Qatar said its defenses intercepted the missiles, confirmed no casualties, and affirmed its right to respond. On June 23, President Trump announced a ceasefire between Iran and Israel, urging both sides to honor it and stressing the need for peace. The ceasefire took effect on June 24, with Trump insisting it will be permanent. As the conflict enters a new and uncertain phase, regional tensions remain high. With U.S. involvement and heavy losses on both sides, hopes for diplomacy have faded. The world watches with growing alarm, fearing a wider war with global repercussions.